Alright, we're live. I'll just hop on here. So yeah, today I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna be doing, but I'll just start off with some KSP here. So obviously today is the launch of Blue Origin's second ever flight test. So in honor of that vehicle, I am going to recreate it in Kerbal Space Program. So it's a little slow with the stream, but pull out 3.75 meter payload fairing piece, and then I'll grab out not that not that either. Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to recreate the Mars Escapade mission in KSP, or at least try to. My main goal will just be to make it to Mars orbit with both satellites KSP, which is not an exact recreation. I know it goes to like a weird L2 orbit, but I'm just gonna do this. So that's not the one I want. I want this. Yeah. And what is going on in the chat? Okay, we get it. You like saying jumbled letters. Alright, turn that to just be like that. And I'll add on some, I don't know, no, not really. It'd be more like these. Yeah, it wouldn't be like those. It wouldn't be like those either. Would it? I don't know. I'll add a little structural platform. And then I'll add 2.5 meter. And then now I will change that, and I will add some structural attachment points, and then I'll add 2 of those guys. So I'll move the structural attachment points in just slightly, and then move the engines out just slightly. Alright. Now I'm going to attach decoupler, actually no, I'll add an engine plate, put it right here, and then I'll add a decoupler at the bottom of the engine plate, and move the engine plate up slightly to like here, right? I'll move the whole thing up slightly. Now we get to make the booster. Which I'll make make it be 6 sections long. And now should be good. Now I'll add the engines. Or I could just... Yeah. So yeah, currently launch is about 45 minutes away. So I got some time to do some stuff. Alright, add that there. And I'll add that, and then... So, alright, they didn't add any aerodynamic parts for the New Glenn Strakes, so I'm just gonna have to go like I got that. Now I got these guys. Should be good. Now add on this. Now move all these in by 2. Three, not 2. 3. I think I'll move it down slightly so that these are more like here. Alright, looks pretty good. That in slightly.
Hi, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. We are going to Mars today. This is a really exciting mission for a few reasons. I mean, obviously, any Mars mission is exciting. Any payload going to Mars is just cool.
Forgot to mute that. Oops. So apparently, Blue Origin's just start their live stream soon, but I'm not gonna jump on that for a little bit. For now, I just want to get this constructed. I don't know who's watching this. So far, it just says one person, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'll see. What's the movement this thing does? Right, perfect. And then little thing there. So I'm gonna grab that. Yep. Alright. Go to robotics. Add on a little of these rotating guys. Oops, says somebody joined the live stream. Alright, this needs to get dropped down just slightly. Or it really just needs to get moved. Like that, and then like that. A little bit further in. Yeah, like that. Alright. Add that to yaw. And make that like so. And like there. I'd say this is the design I'm pretty happy with. Alright, so now we got alright, I'm just gonna test it real quick. Alright. By the way, for those wondering, this is not the live launch. This is just me messing around. What is going on? Doesn't have any roll control. That's wonderful. Bearing adapter is the only thing that's powering this. We don't have any control over it. That's probably why. That's why we test these things before we actually launch them. Just add a nice little probe core to it. Alright, now we should have some kind of power to it. I'll probably jump on the actual live stream for New Glenn here in a few minutes. Just gotta test. Except for roll control. I do not like the fact this thing does not have like any roll control. You'd think it would with all these. I think I could enable it for roll control, but that would be yeah, I'm gonna. The roll control on this thing is terrible because it doesn't have any RCS. We just have these aero control surfaces. Sure, which, I mean, they're good, but not really that good. So I'll enable these for roll. Alright, it should be good now. Hopefully, this thing has roll control now. Next thing I'll add is an actual launch pad for it, because that's pretty important. I'll give it like a strong back or something. Right. So now it should have roll control. It does have roll control now. Wonderful. So when I turn it shouldn't. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, because the roll control works. This thing. Person's in the live stream. If you're here, just chat, say something, leave a like. This isn't the actual launch. I'm just kind of testing it out in KSP. I'll load up the actual live stream in a few minutes, maybe about 30 minutes before the launch. Don't want to miss too much action, but I believe it finishes fueling like before it even the live stream even starts. I might be wrong there, but I know they do it a lot differently than they would for like SpaceX. So now I'll leave it with about 600 meters per second left to fuel. Now I'll separate. Spin stage, power on away. Flip it over a little bit. Leave it a little bit lower throttle. Currently, oh boy, our apoapsis is ginormous. You need to like go all the way down here. Right. orbit. Alright. Should circularize pretty soon here. Alright. That was actually pretty impressive. I should probably separate the fairing. Yeah, there goes the fairing. I'll just launch this into like some sun orbit or something. I guess it kind of is like L2, but just... Jeez. This thing does not have enough fuel, apparently. Not enough delta V, I should say. It's like, that would be the kind of orbit we'd want to launch to. Yeah, I'll just start into this random looking orbit. Here in 6 minutes. Okay. I just want to see how far this thing can even get. And I'd assume this is probably about as far as it gets. Alright, so this is as far as New Glenn can get. Honestly, that ain't bad. Alright, this thing's getting power. Alright, it's probably good. It's probably good. All right.
Explorers.
Certainly it is, and it's so great to have Jordan leading this program. Now, for today, we also have these two primary objectives for New Glenn. The first, of course, to safely deploy the Escapade payload and deliver for our customers. Also on board is a technology demonstrator from Viasat in support of NASA's Communications Services
About
project.
30 minutes to go till second or third.
We're taking our
second largest rocket in the world
landing the booster
launches
for the first time. And I'm warning you, Tabitha,
second,
if this happens, I
maybe
will
third.
lose my mind
Me
on the
too,
desk.
girl.
I am so warning everybody here on set. It's going to happen. And, you know, we're feeling really optimistic, but I should say we're in rockets, so I should say cautiously optimistic about the improvements that we've made to the booster. But regardless of what happens, whether we're successful on that second objective or not, we are going to keep learning and refining and applying all
So
of that
possibly
information
we're going to see
to
the second
next
ever
rockets that
space
are on
company
the floor right behind
that
us
can
here.
land
Yeah,
their
and we
rockets
already have several more vehicles
on a little
in
barge
production,
out
as
to
you
sea.
said, right
I believe
behind
possibly
us.
just
And landing
the
the booster, as we mentioned, is no
second
easy undertaking.
rocket
Our
that's
team,
able to
and
land,
myself
really.
included in that,
Well,
recently had the opportunity to
second
spend a
space
day
company,
at sea with our
SpaceX
Jacqueline
Starship is
crew
the
and
second
learn more
rocket
about the
it's
operations
able
of
to land
landing and
itself,
securing the booster,
but
an operation and moment that will change
technically
the
Falcon
course
Heavy, but
of Blue
that
Origin
counts
history.
as Falcon
Check it
9
out.
in my opinion. So I still have my KSP up for some reason.
The Jacqueline
Just in
is
case,
the landing
you know
platform
what?
vessel
I'll
where New
unpause
Glenn will
KSP
come down,
just
land, and we secure it and bring it back
see
in.
my version of
380 foot long, 150 foot
Glenn
wide.
is doing
And she's a self-propelled vessel.
wrong button. Yes, but
We are the
Right.
recovery side of the operation. This is where GS1 is going to land, and actually that feather is a center point.
We have to leave 4 days before launch. We check all our equipment and we ensure that everything is working, everything is fully functional. We transit for 300 to 400 miles.
So this is down in Cape
depending on how
Canaveral,
far the
which
landing
is,
location is. And
pretty
once we
cool.
get there, dynamic positioning allows the thrusters on board here. We'll hold this in position within a range
so I believe
of
this is
about
the
10
biggest,
We'll
second
have a couple
biggest,
small
maybe
changes
biggest
to
rocket.
Jacqueline's position. They're going to
maybe
feed us
third
new
biggest,
coordinates,
maybe
right? So
fourth
we might
biggest,
move
I'm
500
not sure.
yards this direction, a little that way, but we're
Well,
generally in the area.
I think it's either
Right
second
after,
or
like, 45
third
minutes or an hour before, that's our final position.
biggest or second biggest rocket that's ever been
When the
launched
booster
from
lands, the ROV will come out. Once it's
Cape
mated with the
Canaveral.
booster effectively, we'll start
Have
pumping
39.
high-pressure nitrogen into the booster, which
A,
will allow the
I believe, is
detanking
the one
process to
where they
continue to
have
make the
Starship
booster inert and safe
launch
for us to
pad
operate
getting
around.
built,
These are the
and
transit stands.
there's also
These
the
are what we
Rapid
actually
Storage
use to
facility
secure
and the
GS1
Giga Bay
to the deck.
located
Each
there.
one of these units is individually controlled.
But,
we'll have 6 different
you know, different
operators
than
operating them out under the vehicle.
Starship,
and then we're able to lock out the stands,
it's
which basically
it's all
rigidizes
down in
GS1
Cape
to
Canaveral,
the LPV
whereas a
deck and
Starship,
allows us to bring it
I think
home.
their plan is to have most of their production, at least
The
for the early
complexity of what
part,
we do out here is
down
really
in
important, because we
Starbase,
operate in such an
Texas.
isolated
And
environment.
then
We're hundreds of miles
maybe
offshore.
eventually move
We're
it
relying
all
on
to
satellite communication.
Florida, or
The one thing
move,
about working on
or
the ocean
just
and in the
improve their
elements,
Florida
we fight
production
it.
facilities.
It never wants to work with you. The best you can do is just get along with it. I hope people understand how important reusability is to this program. Us being out here and allowing us to retrieve these vehicles and bring back and reuse them, we reduce the cost, we reduce pollution.
My favorite part of being Team Blue is how everybody works together as a very cohesive group. This is really, really rewarding just to kind of see everyone marching together towards one successful landing operation.
Blue Origin.
And Ariane, we've got a live look there of the Jacqueline. Such an honor to be able to go out on that barge. But a thing to note that the entire team there is like a family. They are eating, sleeping, playing a few card games, and working together, sometimes for more than a week at a time. Now, they've been running these simulations for months leading up to NG2, and we're all hopeful today that they finally get to put all that preparation into good action, you know?
Exactly, and that plays into the 2 primary objectives of this launch.
Wait, hold on. We have someone who's just come into the studio.
Oh,
I
yes.
hope it's okay. Dr. Fox, Dr. Nikki Fox, yes. Hey, do you think you could come over here just for a second? Hi. Hi.
Okay, so if
Sorry,
anybody's
I was
wondering what
surprised
this
to bring
little
you on your
fire-
podcast. Dr. Fox, Dr. Nikki Fox, yes. Hey, do you think you could?
So if anybody's wondering what this little fire thing here is, that's just called a flare stack. So basically what a flare stack is believe this would have to be a flare stack. But anyways, what it does is it burns off excess fuel if they don't have a proper reclaim system that can recycle the fuel back into the tank farm. Then they will just have to kind of burn it off, which is what they're doing right here. So the rocket is not on fire, it's just
on Mars. Oh, we're all eyes on Escapade and Mars today, aren't we?
Amazing. Isn't this nice that I believe your background is in heliophysics? How do you feel about going to Mars? Like we're mixing it up in the solar system for you.
Well, I will tell you, for heliophysics, the moment you leave the Earth's atmosphere, you're traveling in my neighborhood.
That's fair.
Right? Heliophysics goes all the way from the center of the sun to the very outer edge of our solar system. So I actually was one of the, I got to select this mission, so could not be more excited to be here with my amazing heliophysics team getting ready to launch this mission.
And especially given the advanced space has made this extraordinary trajectory that two spacecraft are going to fly around L2, but also again
for the first time ever.
First time ever, and it actually unlocks a lot of possibilities for us thinking about Mars going forward, because now maybe we're not stuck with these Mars launch windows.
I mean, obviously they're not windows. This is not going to be crude,
but it's such a fantastic day.
Cool. And really briefly, can you explain that for our viewers? Because what we're doing is we're kind of doing it in the middle period where we normally wouldn't send something to Mars, but we're going to send it and let it wait.
We are. So we don't have to wait another basically 13 months for Mars to get exactly in the right place and then launch. We are launching the mission. It's going to basically hang out and then wait for Mars to come into 13
and let it wait. We're doing is we're
that's
in
the
the
second
middle
stage
period where
there,
we normally wouldn't send something to Mars, but we're going to send it and let it wait.
There,
So
second stage there, maybe interstate.
We don't have to wait another basically 13 months for Mars to get exactly in the right place and then launch. We are launching the mission. It's going to basically New Glenn. I want to thank Rocket Labs for all the work they've done, the amazing team at NASA Goddard, my incredible team at NASA headquarters. We deliver, they crush it every day, delivering for the nation.
Sure.
Inspiring the world.
They got a hold.
Thank you. It is an honor to fly a NASA payload.
They got a hold.
Today, that you trust us with your technology like that.
If it scrubs today, I had to this whole live
First
stream
of many to come.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Not fun.
To the console. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. Well, with that, I mean, it's so great to add people to the webcast team today. But let's throw it back over to Eddie. Eddie, he is out with a great view in Rocket Park. And Eddie, who you got there?
Yeah, hey Tabitha, hey Ariane. We know going to space is a team effort, and I've got one of those key teammates with me today. This is Tim Fisher, one of the chief engineers of Blue Moon, and behind us is Lunar Plant 1 that has 2.5 million square feet. Well, it brings our Rocket Park facilities to 2.5 million square feet of production space. Tim, what happens in the building behind us?
Well, we're building our Mark II crewed lander, one of the biggest spacecraft ever, and our cislunar transporter, another humongous spacecraft, almost as big as the upper stage of New Glenn. And we even have parts of our second serial number of the Mark I lander in there right now.
No, it's very exciting what this team gets to do on a daily basis, helping NASA, helping Blue return to the moon, this time to stay. Tim, what makes our lunar lander so special?
Well, we're here for reusability and sustainability.
Yeah, 51 minutes.
We've chosen a lander
This might be a
architecture
bit of
that
a
someday
wait.
we can refuel and
I'll just
reuse
put
and go
the
back and forth to the moon
kinda
several
just
times with
in
the
the
same lander.
Corner over
this
there.
This is exciting, right? This is the stuff of science fiction, and Tim and his team are making it happen.
Like so.
And soon, right? Tell us about Mark I. What is that about?
Play some
So Mark I
KSP,
is our
I
Pathfinder.
guess.
It's using a lot of the same technologies. It's a hydrogen-oxygen lunar lander.
All right.
And we are aiming it for the moon this spring, and it's going to prove out a lot of the technologies.
It's now time to add some fuel to this thing because it can use
Tabitha,
some.
Ariane, I'm excited to return to the moon, this time to stay. What else can we answer here?
I love it. Eddie, I mean, you saw in the video, we had some B-roll playing back there. You can see with the cars for scale and the massive
Actually, I think fuel's
building.
probably
Can you
good.
talk a little bit about why it's so big? I mean, our
a lot
lunar landers,
this mission.
are not necessarily going to be that big. Why does the building need to be that
Guess I'll
big?
have to get like a.
Yeah, no, Tim and I were just talking about this, right? The Mark II crew lander that will be ready soon. It stands over 16 meters tall. So you have to encapsulate that in the very large New Glenn fairing. And that happens in the building behind us. So then we can send that payload fairing to the integration facility at LC-36 and get it ready to New Glenn and launch it to the moon.
Fantastic. I should note, Tabitha, that there's the co-location component of this is so important from a production and ease and operation standpoint. I should also say that's one of the reasons why we built our rocket factory here in Florida. We're the first company organization to build rockets that they then launch out of here, also in Florida. And the co-location in principle is supposed to make this just make the operations faster, smoother, cut down the time, cut down the risk. Anytime you're transporting a rocket, you're taking risk, right? So we want to cut that down. It's cutting down on the risk, cutting down on the operations. But what is also nice is that the team that's going to be building the lunar the lunar payload and our lunar landers out here get the opportunity to come walk, you know, a couple hundred feet down the road, and then come and talk to the engineers that are here building New Glenn. So the co-location, you know, we do have several locations around the U.S., but by now, in terms of number of people and programs and things, Florida is starting to become a little bit more, let's say, the center of our operational gravity, if you will. And so we're so fortunate that we decided to create such a large campus here in Florida to then be able to add, as appropriate, the other programs, not just the New Glenn program.
Right, certainly continuing to build in many ways, and of course, build the road to space for the benefit of Earth. Well, if you are just joining us, I wanted to let you guys know you've got a live look there from Huntsville. Everyone is getting so pumped up for NG2, but right now we are at L minus 48 minutes, about 45 seconds. You might be like, wait a minute, I thought we were a little closer to launch than that. Well, that is because
they were a little bit closer to launch.
To allow for weather conditions to clear for launch. That is Kent Washington.
Go Kent, losing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I knew the weather was probably going to be an issue for this one.
I like whoever's job it is, make sure they're the hype man with the flag.
That is Doug Gross. He is, I want to say, first couple dozen of employees.
Really?
That man has been here. He's a legend at our company. So if we've given him flag bearer, he's
earned that honor. Hype man for today. Such an exciting day for all of us here at Blue Origin. But right now, we're going to take a moment. We're going to throw it right over to this beautiful rocket. Let you sit with it there on the pad as we are continuing the process for NG2.
Looks like it's just a mission flag or something. Okay. Well, it appears. Yeah, quite a ways away from launch still, but pretty cool to see that. No, just one of them. Got both of those guys there, and then a little extra satellite there. Alright, so we got Blue Origin New Glenn 2. This is the second mission. I think I'm about ready to launch it. I think right now they literally just kind of just stop their webcast because they don't have enough stuff to talk about for that whole time period. That's what's going on right now. Alright. I think we're good to go for this. I mean, like, I don't know. I think the KSP design's pretty good. I mean, it was assembled really quickly, but oh no, don't you spin like that. Back into the correct position. Why is it? Oh, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why is it in such a weird? That it's not like correct. It's weird. This does not look right.
All right, welcome back. You are currently watching the broadcast of NG2. We're at L minus 44 minutes and 50 seconds, and I've got to throw it out to our very own Eddie Safer, who is with employees at They are pumped. We are pumped. Eddie,
That did it.
bring it to us. What's going on out there?
It's just
Can I say this?
hey, the booster is still
This
intact.
This is the heartbeat of New Glenn. These people here, these teammates
they
of
get
ours,
back
they're
with
the
their
ones that
little
build
webcast
V4. They're the ones that build New
like a
Glenn GS1,
break to
GS2, that put Escapade on top of that rocket,
room for
and they're
more
here to see a launch.
stuff to yap
Who's ready
about.
for a launch?
Eddie, it's so great to be able to see so many people come out on a Sunday, by the way. That just shows you, as you said, the heartbeat of New Glenn. What are they talking about? What are they most excited about
Wait,
today?
this survived?
Yeah, well, listen, this crowd is hyped, as you mentioned.
Kind of wondered, because it's
We're
KSP,
just so
will this
excited to
thing
be here.
land?
It's about what we do day in and day out.
I don't know.
For our
It might
mission,
land.
and our family and friends that let us do this. That's
Will
what
it
we're
land?
about.
Let's find out.
I could definitely feel that.
It's
the crowd
KSP.
has
It's probably
been
just gonna, like-
growing, too.
Oh, let's see. Will the other one land?
L minus 43 minutes. I mean, Ariane, we're
It's
feeling.
only,
we're here
there's like
at
a
the
certain
Jets. We're isolated,
range
but
where,
we
like,
feel just as
the
pumped as they
pieces
do.
do, in fact, explode. And I feel like it's in that range right now.
Even if you're not a space nerd, look at that image. That is
Stunning.
so cool.
Well, what's happening to it right now?
So basically, this rocket is fully fueled. We've got the liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen on the second stage. That's what you see there on the top. And then you'll see the fins there, and just below the fins there you go. That's the New Glenn first stage with liquefied natural gas and liquid oxygen in there, and it looks like it looks like it's steaming, but it's quite the contrary. It's really, really cold. So what you see, you can barely see New Glenn on the side of the rocket there, and it's so cool.
It is really. I mean, that's the right
like
word.
A nerd. I'm
it's
sorry.
cool because it's cool.
I know. I had kids, but
they ain't bad
like my
you.
husband, I'm popping out dad jokes. It's really awful.
Oh, they got a little sticker on it.
But anyway, it is the rocket is
logo,
looking
like,
really,
glitching
really
out?
good. I should say, Tabitha. The team
the only one who's
has
seeing
been
that?
working
I feel like
so
their logo
hard
is, like,
over the
glitching
last
out
couple
right
of
now.
days to get that rocket ready, and in
He's
particular,
back. I don't know when he was
learned
back, but he's
so
back.
much on NG1. So much. This is the first time you
probably
do
already- I
something,
don't know.
okay, like you design it one way, but you don't really see how things are going to click and connect.
Say something in chat again
physically
if
on
you
the
are
rocket, but also
still
from a
back,
team
and I did
perspective,
just
from an
see that,
operational
like, 20
perspective, until
minutes
you
ago.
do it. And so we learned so much on NG1, and to see the speed and the improvement on NG2 has been amazing. Last week, so I was down here last week for what we call integrated hot fire. So what we do is we stack the rocket, looked exactly like this. We hold down the rocket, and we fire the 7 BE4 engines. There you see the base of the rocket, those 7 BE4 engines.
Super powerful.
Just to make sure that everything is flowing and working right. And from, we rolled out the rocket
This has got to
one
be live.
evening, and we hot fired the rocket the next evening. That took us several attempts the first time we did this. And this time, boom, within 24 hours, we had our integrated hot fire test complete, which is what led us here. And then basically a week later, we were on the pad ready to launch because we had a couple of learnings that came out of that integrated hot fire.
Remember when people
But we're
thought
ready to go.
that
It wasn't a
launch
ton of
in
things, and
September?
so that is just
Yeah, no,
one
like
way in which
halfway
we're
through
showing the
November, not
improvement in our
halfway, but
operations of this rocket. And if we
third
keep
through
up
November now.
on that trajectory, so
Think
to
about
speak,
what that leads to.
that is what's going to lead to the
I guess we
launch,
got
land,
this to
repeat.
keep us entertained
And that's why
until
today is
Starship
so
launches
important
again.
for everybody at home.
I don't know, are they
we're objective
really,
number one,
like,
putting this rocket
I mean, figure it's
into
November,
space
so November,
to put our customer,
December,
our NASA
January. Are they
escapade
really
mission
only
into
like
space.
3 months away from
Objective
the
number
next
2 is to get that that first
Starship?
stage,
I mean,
the booster,
they
to
got a lot of
land
testing
on the
done on
ship
Pad 2. I think
downrange,
they just need to
because
get
we need to learn
the vehicles
from
complete,
the landed booster to be able to
which
do
is going to be the
refurbishment, because this
thing that
rocket
might
is
take a while.
reusable, because we're going to bring down the cost of access to space through that reusability. But
Exactly.
Look at that.
But just taking a moment to sit with the rocket. Let's actually toss it back over to the rocket on the pad.
I feel like their stickers are like peeling off. All I see is blue, orange, and then Noog. Like their stickers are like peeling off or something. I don't think that has anything to do with Frostline. I think it's literally just like peeling off from maybe the rain or something. 39 minutes away. Not bad. All right. I think I'm gonna pull up something because we still got 38 minutes now. Pull up something. Something to play live on stream. I'm not quite sure what to play. I'll play Plague Inc. Evolved, because why not? I'll just leave the webcast up in the corner. Kind of bored, you know?
I mean, Ariana.
Oh, did my thing crash? My thing might have crashed. I think my... Okay, hopefully the stream is still going. Ooh, I think my stream might have just crashed. Oh, live. Right, it's alive! Stream is, I think. Yeah, the stream's alive.
New Glenn looks fantastic right now. It is almost peaceful, heavenly-like looking, especially with the clouds. I know we're in a weather hold right now, but it looks really nice. It's beautiful.
She's just chilling, that rocket.
She's being illuminated. She's chilling. The rocket's chilling. I'm chilling. Ariane's chilling. But you at home, don't chill. Come with me. We want to take you through something really cool, okay? While we're in this hold, let's talk about Viasat's HaloNet network. Now, the commercial communication system supporting NASA's shift to next-generation space relay services is actually a part of today's mission as well.
That's right. So the same technology featured here is being demonstrated on today's New Glenn flight to relay launch telemetry in real time.
There's a pulse that drives every mission, a signal, a connection, a lifeline. In space, where timing is critical and distance immense, communications can't fall behind. From liftoff to orbit and throughout the mission lifecycle, HaloNet enables real-time, continuous, and on-demand telemetry, tracking, and control over secure L-band links, providing resilient connectivity with or without local ground infrastructure. In orbit, HaloNet provides high-throughput, low-latency data relay over secure satellite links, designed for global operations with roaming support that keeps you connected throughout the mission. When near real-time access to data is essential, HaloNet's global ground station network ensures direct-to-Earth connectivity, delivering rapid downlink around the world. And when your mission takes you off the grid, HaloNet includes a portable, field-deployable command and control platform, a self-contained mobile gateway that extends connectivity into remote or unpredictable environments, enabling continuous operations. Built with security in mind, HaloNet integrates next-generation encryption, trusted by defense and government users worldwide, protecting mission-critical data from the ground up. As legacy systems retire, HaloNet is already engineered to support
I think KSP is like
from
hurting the stream, so I'm just gonna close out of it.
To emerging capabilities like optical communications. From the ground between, HaloNet is the pulse of your mission, connecting space, empowering progress, securing the future.
Right now,
you saw Viasat. We haven't.
Right now would have been the time it would have
launched
normally.
Speak a little bit more about this payload because it's the primary payload, of course.
Okay, KSP.
Of course, is Escapade. You actually saw there in the middle of the video, we had a little side box there that showed the two twin satellites inside the fairing live, ready for their launch to space today. But on top of the payload adapter, kind of the base of where you saw the two satellites in there, is also this Viasat for it's essentially a radio.
It's a demonstration.
It's a demonstration technology, radio technology for telemetry.
There it is.
Oh well, there you go. There are the two satellites. What a beautiful the two Escapade satellites. We got blue and gold in there. But I just want to talk about this because we talk about landing the rocket today. That is huge. But getting our customers to where they need to go is really, really important. So we're going to deploy those two satellites at about T+33 minutes. But then the second stage is going to continue in space, right? The two satellites go on their way. And that is when we're going to turn on the Viasat payload as well. So the Viasat payload is not going to deploy. It's going to stay on the rocket. And they're going to test their technology. And it's so, we feel so honored that we've got organizations like NASA.
Right.
We've got organizations like Viasat, one of the foremost satellite operators in the world, that are entrusting Blue Origin with their technology. And, yes, this is the second launch of our rocket, but we have shown that through the way that we do our engineering and our development and our testing program, that they said, okay, let's take a chance with you guys. And that means a lot to us. That is not lost on us. And so I want to thank you know, our customers,
partners.
all of our partners and customers that have flown with
I'm
us
just
and
gonna
are
bump
going
this
to
back
fly
out
with
to full
us. It
screen
really does
'cause-
mean a lot. It's not lost on us what our mission is.
Not at all. A little rideshare payload. The Viasat CPS technical demonstration is what we will be seeing. And you right there are seeing a live look from Jacqueline. And Ariane, it would look so much better, as you said.
God.
It's missing something.
It's missing. There's something
It's just something
off
that
on
could
this
go
image.
right in the middle.
Right
That would look real good.
Can I tell? A lot of people don't know this. That landing pad is the same size as the landing pad for New Shepard.
It is.
Which
That's right.
the rocket is 5 times taller. Just think you scale something out 5 times, and we're going to land. To be fair, that's all stacked together. But it's still 7 meters in diameter, and the first stage is massive in its own right. It's still like landing a building, but it's on the same circumference as New Shepard.
It is a moment that I know we're all kind of on this edge of our seats waiting for. I certainly am. We've been building up to this moment for months, and then technically for years, if we look at how much time
about
it has taken from the start of this company. 25 years ago, we just had a 25th anniversary. And something really interesting, Ariane,
I can look at the
10 years to the month and almost to the day is when
first launch, but if we're an expendable rocket, it had been a perfect first
So 30
launch.
minutes away.
We didn't land the booster the way
All
we
right.
wanted to, and on the second launch, we launched it, and it came back, and Tabitha got, this is like ingrained, like just burned in my memory, is this rocket came down, and we heard on this handheld radio, you know, the engines, like, drag brakes deploy, engine relay, and people are just like losing it.
Holding their breath.
And you see in the distance, because for New Shepard, you're a couple miles away, and it kicked up all this dust, and then we heard touchdown. And there you go. See, you see our happy engineers. It was like that. We just lost our minds. And I am sure that today, when this rocket comes down and does the same thing, it will be like that. But also, as we have scaled up, everything gets scaled up, all the energy, it will be over 10,000 employees losing their mind. Is that man wearing a kilt?
Wait. Huh?
Energy, it will be.
I was gonna say.
Focus.
Yes.
I got the
Jack
chance to talk
Byer
to
there?
Dave Limp about this yesterday. It's such an
Is
important
that where
part
he
of
went to
everything
work?
we
But
do.
no.
And it really ties into something else that we have, and that is our Mars Telecommunications Orbiter, or MTO. And let's kind of dive into this for a little bit. So current communications spacecraft at Mars, they're aging, and we need to make sure that we have new and robust capabilities out there that can kind of support not just our existing rovers and instruments doing groundbreaking work on the Martian surface, but also to lay the groundwork for more science and even more human missions. Well, the first human mission and all those beyond that.
Exactly, and our
First
Mars
human mission, which is
Telecommunications
gonna come
Orbiter
from SpaceX.
is based on existing
Probably.
blue
Well,
Blue
that's
Ring
not even
vehicle,
probably,
and it
that's
provides high rate
definitely.
communications, but also does much more in a single
I don't
spacecraft.
know.
Yeah, in addition
I
to
don't think China's
communications, our
going
Blue
to
Ring MTO
Mars
could also
in
fly exciting
2028.
science payloads and technology demonstrations. For example, flying a synthetic aperture radar on Blue Ring MTO will help us find the ice on Mars, which will inform future landing sites for human missions. So take a look at our Mars Telecommunications Orbiter.
I feel like that's gonna get me copyrighted. I'm just gonna mute that. Alright. Communication systems. Stuff like that. At this point, I think returning the samples would probably be easiest if they literally just like landed there with humans and then just had them pick them up.
Tabitha, that concept is really cool. I also want to warn you, I am very biased.
Hear me out here.
Say more.
Why put so much into
6 months ago, I took my current
Mars
role, but
sample
prior to
return
that,
missions
I had
when you could just have a human land there,
just to note,
pick them up,
well, we
put them in the
definitely have
spacecraft,
rain out
send
there
it back.
on the pad.
But this is Florida. If you
A
don't like
lot
the weather, just wait
easier.
10 minutes.
Oh, and the rain has begun.
But now you guys know why
Come on,
we
that-
were waiting
that
for a
would've
little
been
bit. We saw this
after
coming, so
the
we're
launch
just
by, like,
holding
well,
here and added a little bit more time to
booster
the clock,
landing,
and that's
but-
why we're still
Little
holding
rain
about
never hurt
24
anybody.
minutes and 50 seconds to go until launch. We're going to wait for this to pass. But
Well, they started
as I was
firing the
mentioning,
rain.
prior to taking this current role, I was
Kabooms.
had the honor of leading, being deputy in charge of our in-space systems business unit that is building Blue Ring. And Blue Ring has this ability to take up to 13 payloads and then deploy them, but then also act as the comms relay, also do edge computing in space. So basically, you know, in a very simplified way of talking about it, it's kind of like a mission in a box. You can take that whole constellation, send it to Mars, deploy the satellites, and then use the Blue Ring itself, which did its first job as transporting, to then be the communications relay back to Earth. And the more power you have in that comms capability, the faster you're going to get the data and the communications. Right now, one of the biggest issues is that Mars is so far away. And so, like, there's this huge delay. The better the comms you can have, the better we're setting up, as you were mentioning before, you know, future, not just the science that needs to happen to prep us for our future missions to Mars for, let's say, robotic landers and things like that, but also for people to go to Mars one day. So we're really excited about the prospect of this mission and what we can do, again, for our customer here at NASA as they think about future exploration missions.
Yeah, it's so exciting to hear just about everything that is happening. Again, you are watching the webcast for NG2. We're at L-23 minutes and about 20 seconds. Let's toss it back
23?
over to New Glenn on the
Pretty
pad.
sure that was 21
booster,
seconds,
so
but
appropriately
sure.
named. Never tell me the odds. Looking nice and cool.
Never tell me the odds. I kind of wonder what the odds are, but I don't know. I mean, we could very well see the booster land, or we could see something like SpaceX did with the early days of I guess Starship testing, but mainly Falcon 9 testing. I mean, we've all seen the video, how not to land an orbital class rocket booster. This could very well be a similar situation to that, but I don't know. Kind of wonder, like, I did not know what happened, and I still don't quite understand what exactly happened to New Glenn's booster. I mean, like, on the last, obviously this is on the last launch, but I still don't quite understand what happened to New Glenn's booster on the last flight. They've kept it kind of just, like, undercover. Like, I mean, I'm sure they released some information on what caused it, but, like, you know, whereas, like, SpaceX would immediately, like, 2 minutes later be like, oh, this caused it, post, you know, or, I don't know about NASA, but, like, NASA would make it their mission to figure out what went wrong and apologize to the public or whatever. And then SpaceX just releases the footage, like, 2 minutes later. Like, amazing test
Well,
flight.
Ariane, right now you and I, we're sitting here at the desk. We are looking at this beautiful image of New Glenn on the pad.
20 minutes ago, I'm going to
yesterday,
take
you and I
a quick
actually got to go
break,
out
get
to
ready
the
for the
pad.
launch
We
a little
had some
further.
time to look at NG2
Probably
in all
just going to
glory.
sit down in my
And
chair
so
and watch.
I want to, like, talk about how cool it was for us to go and see this engineering marvel.
Let's check it out.
Okay, so walk me through kind of the different components of this rocket.
Okay, so on the most very basic level, we've got GS1, and then stacked on top of it, GS2. It's basically like stacking a rocket on top of a rocket, right? So let's maybe start with the GS1 because it's doing a lot of the work today, right? And we want to land this booster as well. At the top, we call the forward section, you'll see kind of a gold section up there at the top where the 4 fins are. Right. Those fins, they move back and forth, right? So they help with directional capability on the rocket. The whole main section of it, though, in the middle is basically a big fuel tank. And then you get to the aft, the bottom section there, that has the landing gear you see in each of the doors, but it also has the 7 BE4 engines that are in the base. Right. At the top, then, so that's basically GS1. At the top, basically from the white portion above the gold and beyond, tucked in there are the 2 BE3U engines. The part with the feather, again, that's all basically tank, liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen for the propellants. I forgot to mention liquid oxygen and liquefied natural gas, the propellants for the first stage, so they're different propellants. And then kind of that nice, smooth top, that is the fairing. There are 2 halves of the fairing, and those will deploy off, those will fall apart once the second stage is up in space. Right. And inside the fairing is where the Escapade, the 2 payloads, the 2 satellites of the Escapade mission are currently.
Twins.
They're twins. They're on what's called an
Reportedly, we
ESPA
got
ring.
2
And so it's
people
a
in
ring
chat.
that mates to the top of the rocket. And then on that ESPA ring, we put the 2 satellites.
Yeah, if you're just
So
joining,
once they're up
we're
there
just
in orbit
watching
at about 33 minutes.
New Glenn launch.
First
Oh, another
blue
hold.
will
Oh, that's
deploy,
wonderful.
We wait 30 seconds. Pretty obvious. We don't
Oh,
want them
no,
to
are
run
they gonna
into
just
each other, right?
fully
And then
just
second,
cancel this
the
launch?
gold deploys. So that's
Oh,
what happens with the second
they
stage.
better
once
not
it's
do
out of
that
space,
again.
But keep in mind, first stage
making its way home.
It's making its way home, right? So the engines have done half of the work on its way up. We flip it around. We start a burn that slows the rocket. Right. We then use the strakes, or they're basically our wings at the base of the rocket. It helps with what we call cross range. So we basically can effectively fly the rocket, and then it lands on the Jacqueline platform just in the last couple minutes or less even. We have 3 of the 7 engines that relight, and then finally just the final engine that lights. You don't need all of the power.
I'm not picking. Why is it showing that?
All the engines, because you're landing what is effectively an empty fuel tank.
And something the size of a skyscraper.
Something that's the size of a skyscraper.
That
So
was really weird.
You do need power, obviously, but not as much, obviously, as when it
This
starts.
is-
And then it's...
And to be in the presence
So they're
of
in a
something
hold.
the size of a skyscraper.
Yeah.
And to learn, as you mentioned, it's essentially a rocket stacked on top of a rocket, right? And the pad itself has so much
pull up some,
history.
like,
It's just like, I don't know,
weather
Space Coast is
radar
such a
or
special
something.
place. This launch is so special. This rocket is so special. So
Yeah, I had a chance to chat with some of our customers and our VIPs that also got a chance to check out the rocket. A lot of them, of course, have been in the industry a long time, and they got out there for a photo op yesterday, and they said, this rocket just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And there is something to be said, actually, for you can look at a piece of engineering. I know it's very simplistic, but you can't look at a piece of engineering and be like, aha, that looks
Can
right.
this
That
thing
looks
just
right. It
stay
feels right.
on
You
here?
add too many bells and whistles, and you're like,
I'm
it's
just
this
saying.
rocket is
Just want to see
a marvel of engineering. It flew so well on its
weather
first go.
something.
I cannot wait to see how it performs
It's just a
on its second go. And as we
gigantic
said, we're
white
cautiously
screen right
optimistic.
now.
We've made some changes to the first stage after our first launch, where we didn't recover the booster to be able to land
What is the
this
weather looking
this
like
time.
over Cape
And
Canaveral?
we feel good. We feel good. I don't want to
It
jinx
is.
anything,
do
but
feel
man, I
good.
feel
We're
good.
knocking. I knock on my
knocking all over the place. Yeah.
But you're right. I've been talking to employees, for months leading up to this moment, and employees do feel good. Engineers feel good. And this launch, it feels different. It feels good. And I think everyone is just, on the edge of their seat at this precipice, right? We're ready to land the booster.
It would feel a lot better if these clouds got out of the way, if this weather got out of the way.
We are in a weather hold. So here's what's going on. If you are tuning in right now, you're watching the webcast for NG2. You might notice on your screen that we are in a hold. We're doing that to allow for a little more time for that weather to clear. We're gonna let you know and keep you guys posted on the new T-clock as soon as we get information on that. So right now, let's toss it back over to New Glenn on the pad as we wait for some of this weather to just kind of move on out.
Roll on by.
Just get
I
out
don't
of here.
know what's exactly going on with the live stream right now. Just being really... What the... This... is... What... I don't know. Oh, they're in a hold. Oh. Again. We'll see if this thing even makes it to within 10 minutes. Ever. Today. Will this launch in November? The world may never know. Will this launch this year? The world may never know. The heck is on? What is that one tower crane on Starbase Live doing? Is it just spinning around like that? The heck? I'm sorry, I gotta find this. Why is there a crane just spinning on Starbase Live? I am just saying. Is it just a crane spinning? I need to get some like 4K footage of this. Oh, I think the crane just now stopped spinning. That is so weird. Or is it just spinning? Just a random crane. Tower crane in the Giga Bay that's just spinning around. It's so random. Oh, it used to spin around faster. I think it's still spinning. Imagine being in a hold twice in one day. How long can they hold this thing?
All right, friends, you are watching the webcast of NG2. We are currently in a hold at about L-20 minutes. But in the meantime, Here's something we love to do here. We love our jobs here, and we also love inspiring others. We want to inspire a few more of you also at home with our nonprofit Club for the Future. Club has the mission to inspire and mobilize future generations to pursue careers in STEAM. That's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, all for the benefit of Earth. I am the A in STEAM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
the arts part.
Which is super, super important. The ability to communicate about it, right? Like it's so important, the A component of STEAM. But as part of the Club for the Future program, one of the cool opportunities that we give is we allow students to send postcards to space and back via New Shepard. And we also provide online STEAM-based lesson plans that are free for students and teachers to use. And then so that everybody can get a piece of the action.
That's right.
Even easier is that we have these digital postcard, this drawing tool that you can go online, and anybody can send that art to space. So for more information, if that sounds cool to you, just go to clubforfuture.org.
That's right. That's clubforfuture.org. Ariane, where do you fall in the STEAM spectrum? You're a bit of everything, I feel like.
I've always kind of been like...
You're like, I'm science and technology and a bit of engineering and math.
Yeah, but I kind of like it all.
Yeah. And arts today and anytime we get the honor of having you with us.
Let's be very clear. I'm not the one that's going to be designing that insane trajectory that Advanced Space did for Escapade today.
Right.
So, like, props to you guys. But I love every part of space and all that goes into it, and clearly the A part of it is also incredibly important.
It's neat to have such a cool team of all of the great letters that work together. And Jeff himself has said that it is this generation's job to build a road to space so that future generations can unleash their creativity. Check it out.
Is it just me, or did the crane stop spinning?
When I was in high school, I was working to build a rocket for a target altitude competition.
My mom took me to a observatory opening, and I got to see the rings of Saturn through a telescope.
Growing up, I was just not very good at doing school. I wasn't really good at doing homework.
There was a teacher at my school, Mr. Cullen, and we spent hours together after school. I would be building a rocket in the back of his class, and that was incredible for me.
I had a chemistry teacher who also taught astronomy, sparked that interest in me. She went outside the lines of what I believed a science person should be.
It helped jumpstart a passion where I am now a propulsion engineer launching rockets.
If a teacher like that could help a student like me and pull me to this career, it just makes me think, you know, what can I do to help inspire the next generation?
And that was life-changing for me.
And that's what Club for the Future is really all about.
Club for the Future!
At Club for the Future, our mission is clear: to inspire and mobilize future generations to pursue careers in STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and all for the benefit of Earth.
We're here to create meaningful experiences that spark curiosity and ignite passion.
We're teaming up with educators to make learning an adventure by creating space-based lessons for K-12 students.
If we want to see millions of people living and working in space, space should look like all the populations of Earth.
Our goal is to make learning about space more accessible for all. So we've joined with others to reach underrepresented students and underserved communities.
But it's not just about what happens in your classroom. As Blue Origin's Club ambassadors, we're here to share our expertise and inspire students through speaking opportunities, events, and mentorship.
Also, with our Postcards to Space program, kids can connect with the vastness of space and the future of our planet.
Draw your vision of the future or write any message you want on a postcard, and we'll launch it to space and back on a New Shepard rocket.
Your postcard will be stamped, flown to space, and returned to you as a unique keepsake.
So let's go. Let's dream big, reach high, and build a future where the possibilities, they're as endless as the stars.
Love Club for the Future, and you saw all those really excited employees out there.
Yeah.
There they are, losing it. That's right. Team Blue. Looks like, I think this is our team in Huntsville. There's our team in Kent. Coming in on a Sunday to cheer on their rocket.
Woo!
You see,
I want to cheer with them. I want to be there.
if we land this rocket today, they're gonna
go nuts.
This is cheering.
We may not be able to show it.
And there's a team out here in Florida. You see, they're on top of the garage just right next to us. They've got the best view for this launch. There's our team. They are ready to rock and roll. I love it. I absolutely love it. The team at Blue.
There you go.
You're on TV. Let's go.
We're waiting too. We understand. We're waiting on that weather hold to lift. Everyone's excited, but the time is coming.
Where our team is they're still working on the situation with the weather and assessing the weather conditions out there.
What even is the weather?
Otherwise speaking, the team and the rocket are ready to go. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful.
Currently,
And I think what you were saying is
there's not a single.
employees are so excited, and they're also very involved in community, and they're involved in schools. And Club for the Future gives
Not
us
even
that
any
opportunity.
clouds.
Yeah, and it's
anywhere
not
near
an
it.
accident in the sense that our vision is millions of people living and working in space for the benefit of Earth. That's right.
Maybe a little bit, but
for all of Earth. And we need to 3 steps to that. We got to reduce the cost of accessing space.
Number 1.
We need to figure out then how to go to space and take advantage of the resources that are out there to make life on Earth better. And the third key part of that is inspiring the next generation, because this is not a project that is done in 6 months. This is not building an app, right? Like this is
forever.
Decadal, generational type of work. And if we don't have a strong next generation to pass the baton to, that is super excited and is trained and is motivated to do so, then what are we doing?
Knowledge is power.
It fades if you don't pass that baton on. And so that's why at Blue we've made it a core part of what we do. And what I don't use like the big, we Blue Origin, but literally as individuals, there are so many of us that we call club ambassadors that go
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I'm
You're
also
one of them.
Go and speak about space on behalf of Blue, but arguably on behalf of the industry, because that is such a critical component of what we do. So props to the actual group within Blue Origin, our Club for the Future team.
Heather and Lucas and Chris, they love to reach out, and we love to help them out.
Come on, they're still in a
I
hold.
even had the opportunity
There's
to
not
speak
even any
to
bad
a group of
weather.
students in India.
Oh, I love it.
I had just gone to India last year. The fact I was able to turn around and talk to them and relate not only my travels to India to what we're doing in the space industry here and what we're doing at Blue. I mean, it really brings a tear to my eye because it's so cool to be able to make those connections. So you could tell we love Club for the Future. We love inspiring the next generation, and we love
can launch through
inspiring
a
you
cloud.
too
Come on,
at
it's
home.
just water.
But if you're just joining us, this is the webcast for NG2. We've got a live look
And
on
again,
the right side
Apollo
of your
12.
screen of Jacqueline. Would look a lot better
12.
once that booster goes up, and we maybe set it down right where that feather is. That looks like a good spot right there. And then, of course, on the left-hand side, you have New Glenn on the pad ready to go. But let's talk about the flight profile overall. While we're in this hold, we're in a weather hold right now, we made a really cool video that dives a little bit deeper on the entire flight profile of New Glenn. So check it out.
New Glenn lifts off from Launch Complex 36 on Cape Canaveral. 7 BE-4 engines will ignite and propel the rocket upward with over 3.8 million pounds of thrust, or roughly 17,000 kilonewtons. The vehicle will quickly reach supersonic speeds as it climbs through the atmosphere. As the rocket ascends, it will encounter maximum aerodynamic
Will we get a
pressure
booster landing
known
this
as
time?
Max Q at around 40,000 feet or 12 kilometers. This is the point at which the stress on the vehicle is at its highest. Around 3 minutes into the flight, the vehicle will turn off its engines, marking the end of the boost phase. Shortly after, the reusable first stage will separate and begin its journey back to Earth. 2 BE-3U engines on the second stage will ignite and propel it onward into orbit with the payload. The reusable booster reorients in the vacuum of space using its reaction control system. At 220,000 feet or 67 kilometers, it executes an exo-atmospheric deceleration burn using its Center 3 engines. These engines gimbal for maximum control of the booster. This burn slows the vehicle down before re-entering the atmosphere. As it descends, the booster's strakes and fins work together to slow it down and guide it autonomously back to Earth, landing on a vessel at sea. At around 9,000 feet, or just under 3,000 meters, the first stage begins its final landing burn. The 3 middle engines will light for 20 seconds, slowing the vehicle in preparation for the final descent. The 2 outer engines will turn off, and the center engine will execute the final controlled maneuver onto the landing platform.
We'll see if they do this. If they do this, that would be pretty good, but
the vessel will return to Cape Canaveral to prepare for its next mission.
you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of that Lego piece thing that's like
in space,
the
second
tube
stage will
thing.
continue to power the payload towards its final orbit. At around 400,000 feet or 120 kilometers, the payload fairings will jettison. New Glenn will deliver an unprecedented range of payloads. Large satellites, dual payloads, orbital vehicles, large constellation dispensers, even moon landers destined to establish permanent human presence on the moon. Once it arrives at its insertion location, the payload will separate from New Glenn's second stage. This is New Glenn.
Wait, was there a 67
This
kilometers?
is how we will build a road to space.
There's a 67 kilometers. I'm done. Come on. For the benefit of Earth. Kinda.
I get chills every time I see that feather come on screen. It's such a great piece pulled together to really explain what's going to be happening with NG2. So there you go. You have a live look, though, of New Glenn on the pad. Now you understand the entire flight profile. But while we're in this hold and we're working out weather, let's go ahead and send it back over to the rocket and just sit with NG2.
Come on, though, like... Why are they so, like... that is a cloud, like, right above the launch pad. But, like... That's a cloud right above the launch pad. Come on. How much the weather got to be this terrible? Come on, why does weather got to be absolutely horrendous? Someone in the chat said, when does NASA plan to land on Minmus? That's crazy. On the NASA spaceflight live stream, somebody literally said, it's official, brain rot has spread everywhere. Somebody, two people in the NASA spaceflight live chat said 6-7. 3, 4.
All right, friends, you are watching the webcast for NG2. We are currently in a hold at about the L-minus 20-minute mark. And I got an update for you guys. We're waiting on weather. You might be looking at that and be like, well,
who's going to say 11? There's got to be somebody who's going to say 11.
Better, huh? Well, we're also chasing some boats out of the way.
Somebody's got to say 11.
There are some boats that are essentially being told, hey, you're in our flight path. You got to get out of here. They should have known that to begin with. But that's just one of the other things that you deal with when you deal with rocket launches.
Tabitha, I'm gonna try to see the silver lining in this, or I'm gonna try to be the ever optimist that I am. Last time we had this launch, we also had an errant boat in our our flight path, and we had a pretty spectacular launch, and we put our payload, got to orbit, we filled our objective. So I'm going to call this a good luck omen.
A good luck. You know, speaking of good luck omens, yesterday, me, you, and our very own Eddie Seyfert, we were headed out to the launch pad, and we saw a tortoise crossing the road. And if you didn't know, tortoises are a part of our coat of arms, and we find them as a sign of good luck. So, Eddie, you are out there, you are with employees, you're at the best spot to see the rocket launch. But let's talk about something serious for a second. Let's talk about how hard it is to land the booster. For those of you who don't know, you probably do know if you're watching this webcast, on our first attempt, we weren't able to land the booster, but we were able to get our payload into orbit. Today, our big objective, aside from getting our payload into orbit, which is Escapade, is we want to land our booster. Never tell me the odds, and I like the name of that booster, so I want to keep it. So, Eddie, how hard is that?
Well, so first off, thank you for your patience. The weather here is looking a little better. The boats, as Ariane said last time, definitely safety is our highest priority. And the tortoise, for me, a sign of good luck. I mean, I think it's just a trifecta of signs that we're ready to not just launch Escapade to space successfully, but to land this booster. So we learned a lot. Nothing substitutes flight data. So the GS1 booster, after it separates from the GS2 upper stage, it does a 180-degree flip maneuver so that the aft section is facing backwards, or basically back down to Earth,
said ULA
but in the flight path. And so that 180-degree maneuver is conducted by our reaction control system. They're peroxide monothrusters. We call them the severe weather agility thrusters. And those worked perfectly last time. We did the maneuver. And then the BE-4 engine goes for reignition. So the 3 center engines reignite what we call the exo-atmospheric re-entry burn. And its entire purpose is to slow down the GS1 as it re-enters the atmosphere so that its superior aerodynamic performance, those long strakes, those forward fins, can guide the GS1 booster over the Jacqueline.
Yeah, Eddie, thank you for such a good explanation for our viewers at home, because it took a little bit for me to understand, too, exactly. I'm like, why is it so difficult? And it's like, it's pretty difficult. And I'm like, it's like when you watch the Olympics and you watch someone run fast, you're like, oh, I can do that. And it's like, no, you can't. It's actually quite difficult. So, thank you, Eddie, for that great explanation.
The NASA space flight
in a hold.
live
You
chat
are watching NG2, our webcast here. We are at about L-minus 20 minutes.
And
we're
they're all
going to toss it
subscribers
right
too.
back over to the rocket. New Glenn is on the pad. It is feeling cool. It is looking cool, and it is literally, Ariane, very cool right now.
So many people are saying sink the boat. Yeah, sink this darn boat. Somebody on the NASA spaceflight live stream said, I need to fart. What? What? Somebody said Southern Indiana. Just no further explanation. Somebody just said Southern Indiana. is there a second flare stack? Is there a second flare stack? Cause I see a fire. I mean. Wait. Did they bring it out of the hold? This thing has been holding for so gosh darn long. Just launch it. It's almost 2:30 local time. Or my time. It's like 3:30 their time. This is our only attempt at a daytime launch. I hope this works.
All right, friends, you are watching the webcast for NG2 right now. You can see New Glenn out there on the pad. But an important part of what's happening today with New Glenn is we are sending Escapade to Mars. And I got the extreme privilege, the honor, if you will, to talk to the principal investigator of Escapade, Dr. Rob Lillis. Check it out. Rob, for someone who doesn't know, what does the principal investigator of Escapade do?
People have already found the boat.
Trusted by NASA to execute the entire project. So it's kind of like the buck stops with me. I have a team of excellent people around me, but I'm responsible for the production of the data, the definition of the science requirements, the execution, the technical aspect of the mission. I think it's a great model for how NASA sort of entrusts the completion and execution of a mission to a partner like UC Berkeley, where I'm based.
And Escapade is a really
they can draw out
project.
the whole
We're so excited to be taking it
starship. They only got like 15 minutes,
and
then
a little bit about what
nope,
Escapade does.
we're scrubbed for the day.
Escapade is
at least it gets over with fast. New
Mars,
Glenn, they can hold for like hours.
To sample the ways
hold
in
for
which
like hours before they're like,
and its upper
yeah, we
respond
should
to changes in
probably
space
scrub for the
By
day.
space weather, I mean the million-mile-per-hour stream of charged particles that the sun is at all times throwing at. Sometimes that stream gets gusty, and the gustiness, essentially, of it is what we call space weather. And there's all sorts of ways that can happen. The magnetic field can get stronger, the speed can get higher, the density can get higher, and all those things have an effect on the Martian atmosphere. And over time, it can strip away the particles in the upper atmosphere. And we know that this has been an important process by which Mars's climate has changed over Martian history. Early in Mars history, up to about 2 billion years ago, Mars was at least occasionally warm and wet. It had a thick atmosphere. It was habitable. We don't know whether life actually existed, but it was habitable there. But then in the last 2 billion years, it's lost most of its atmosphere. And we think that the stripping of the atmosphere by the solar wind is a big reason why that happened. And ESCAPADE is going to be sampling and investigating these processes with a stereo perspective with 2 spacecraft. And that's really important because up until now, with one single spacecraft, we've only been able to measure either the solar wind itself or the effect of the solar wind closer to the planet. We've either had the cause or the effect, but separately. With ESCAPADE, we can have 2 spacecraft simultaneously cause and effect at the same time. And so that's the breakthrough that ESCAPADE is going to provide us in understanding the processes by which the atmosphere is stripped away.
And once we understand that, I mean, how does that affect us here back on Earth or future Mars missions?
Right. So it's important for a couple of reasons. One, I think we're just curious as to how planets evolve in general.
I mean, like
over the billion.
This is just stupid. Like, come on.
Composition.
Who cares about this
they're
boat?
More volcanically active, and that can affect the atmosphere too.
The fact that they're
so
holding
this
because
is an
of a
important
stupid
piece. It isn't the only
little
piece, of course, but it's
boat.
an important piece of the puzzle of Mars climate evolution, and that's
Just
interesting
launch
just
it.
because we
They've
love
been
to explore
warned.
as humans. But
They
it's
get
also
hit by
important
rocket
because
debris, they
space weather
know what
can
they're
have a
getting
practical
into.
effect on robotic spacecraft that we send to Mars Future, and also humans when they explore Mars. This is important for a couple of different reasons. One, a big space weather event, what's often called an interplanetary shock or a coronal mass ejection, when the sun belches out a couple billion tons of hot plasma, often at high speed, high density. As that shock expands through the solar system, it accelerates particles to really high energies. High enough energies that they can go right through a spacesuit and cause astronaut health problems.
Come on, boat.
And so the radiation on the surface of Mars, when you get a big enough coronal mass ejection, you can get 100 days worth of radiation in one day. This happened last year. June 6th, 2024. The usual background level of radiation was increased by a factor of 100 for that day when that happened. And so if you're an astronaut on the surface of Mars, you don't want to be out away from your radiation shelter when that happens. And so ESCAPADE's measurements are going to enable us to
Somebody said this is why
those
torpedoes
radiation
were
hazards.
invented.
There's another reason too why ESCAPADE's important, because we're
It
also
is.
going to be studying the ionosphere. So this is a
This is why
layer
missiles were
of
invented.
gas in the upper atmosphere that's ionized. And that's
Why is there a
important because
fire?
that
Little kids in
layer
chat.
it distorts radio
Why is there a
signals as they
fire?
pass through it.
Why is there a fire?
And understanding the variability and the structure of that ionosphere will help us to correct for those distortions.
Maybe you should listen to
Communication,
the
but also for navigation,
professionals.
because there's going to
And
want to
maybe
be
they'll
GPS
answer
on
your
Mars
question.
eventually, and understanding how the
Yeah, fires
ionosphere
just
distorts
burn.
the GPS signals will enable astronauts to know better where they are. All these things are taken into account on Earth. It's all behind the scenes, so your phone doesn't have to like show you how they're correcting for it, but that's all behind the scenes on Earth. We want to be able to do that same error correction on Mars.
Oh, why
and
did somebody
ESCAPADE
just
will help
randomly
us
say
understand
6-7 in
It's really cool to know
in
that we're
the,
thinking about
NASA
these future
space flight
problems
chat.
now. And speaking of things that are happening in the future, I
Get
mean,
out
ESCAPADE is
the
not going to be making it actually
Yes,
to
that's
Mars. The spacecrafts aren't going to be there for at least 2027.
That's right. That's right indeed. Yeah.
So what happens once ESCAPADE deploys?
Drone strike
Kind of tell
this
me more
boat.
about the trajectory.
Okay, well, so after it deploys, first of all, there's a few important checkouts we have to do. The first thing is we got to deploy the solar panels and we got to get it to speak to us. And so actually, the viewers will be interested to know that we may not hear from the spacecraft for up to 3 hours after launch. And that is by design.
Okay.
Because we have 2 antennas, one on either side of the spacecraft, and they only work one at a time. And we don't know which one necessarily is going to be pointed towards Earth initially. So if the one that turns on first happens to be pointed away from Earth, we got to wait 2 hours until it decides, oh, I'm not hearing from Earth, and it switches over to the other one. So no one should panic if we don't hear from it within that first hour. But once we know that we have signal, we're hearing from it, and we know the solar panels are deployed and they're facing the sun, so that's called power positive. So it's safe.
I'm just gonna mute this. Like, there's not really a point. They're just yapping, but like they've been holding for a while. It's a cruise ship leaving. That's a wonderful thing to be as a cruise ship. Just, I would want to be on that cruise ship. Just There's the boat. Carnival something. It's I don't know what ship that is. Carnival Cruises, come on. Nah, they're just gonna pick them up with a lifeboat. Oh, wait. Range clear? $20 million fine. Ooh. I feel bad for that boat owner, but at the same time, like, come on. You messed up big time. But $20 million fine or something like that. Why do people... What? Stop saying 6'7" in the chat. Why is there so many people in the NASA spaceflight chat saying 6'7"? We're better than this. Still haven't gotten the boat to leave the area, I guess.
To know how the upper atmosphere of Mars is
Still on hold? Let's just use this boat, this new boat, as the new landing platform real quick. That's why they're holding. They're just trying to reconfigure the landing spot so it's this stupid boat. Landed on them. No, but honestly, like, come on, like, you're not doing anything valuable out there. Just please leave. Still in a stupid hold. Stream's been going on for like 2 hours now. How long has this hold been going on for? About 45-ish minutes. It's like right here was when the hold happened. Right here. Oh, yeah. Ooh, GSC. So first, weather. Now boat. Now GSE. Jeez. That's something. They got like the trifecta. All the bad things that can happen. Clock's running! Go. Yeah, let's go. Okay, well, the clock's running again, so there's a chance this thing might actually launch today. Well, we got another 30 minutes to wait. They cleared the boat. I think this thing might launch. I'm gonna get a drink real quick. Well, we got some new fried chicken, I guess. Some new fried chicken. Yeah, I want to have some fried chicken like that. That's not fried chicken, that's incinerated chicken. Strong back looks pretty cool, actually. About 25 minutes.
Well, if you take a look on your screen, we're at L minus just under 24 minutes. And Ariane, you and I have the distinct pleasure of being joined today by our very own Eddie Seyfert. And Eddie is one of my favorite people to talk to about engines. Eddie knows all things engines, as do you.
Eddie.
Engines with Eddie. We're coming to you. Let's talk a little bit about our engines.
Hey Tabitha, hey Ariane, thank you for the opportunity to talk about our rocket engines, the liquid propulsion systems that for me are one of the highlights of today's show. So our BE4 engines, which are manufactured in Kent, Washington and in Huntsville, Alabama, they're tested at Launch Site 1 at our BE4 engine test stand, as well as at the historic 4670 test stand. Now, I'm a former test guy, and these BE4 engines are a medium
Nobody in
performing
chat
variant of
saying
a high performance architecture, and the teams that test these rocket engines are just eking out more and more and more thrust, better ISP for these engines that serves our customers. So like, for example, this year we delivered our 30th BE4 engine to our customer, United Launch Alliance. And in the building that was behind me when this webcast started, we have multiple shipsets worth of BE4 engines for New Glenn.
Eddie, do you feel like you have a particular love for one or the other, the BE4 or the BE3? I know you were out in West Texas for a long time. We do a testing of all of our engines really there, but do you have a favorite?
Well, no, it's impossible to have a favorite, right? They're all great engines. For example,
You can't say you love one of your babies more than the other, huh, Eddie?
No. Well, they're all great engines, right? BE3U, which runs on liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, is an open expander cycle, right? Those two molecules come together and they create a lot of energy and steam. And you know, BE3U originally started from the BE3 engine that now has flown 36 successful times on New Shepard.
Wonderful to see
but
that
they
view.
baselined it at 160,000 pounds of thrust. When it first flew earlier this year in January, it flew at 174,000 pounds of thrust.
ITAR doesn't
and
like
this
this.
team is kicking butt. They keep increasing those thrust levels, keeping the performance high, and really it's all about the upper stage when it comes to the payload.
And you see they're actually on the shot. We've got the two nozzles in the second stage of the BE3U. Oh, wow. Those are huge nozzles. Eddie, do you want to talk about why those nozzles are so large on the BE3Us? Why do we have to have such massive nozzles?
Right, so in the vacuum of space, these nozzles don't have the atmosphere to push back in them and crumple them when the exhaust is being exhausted at supersonic, so faster than the speed of sound velocities.
Carnival cruise ship just leaving during the
extra
rocket
nozzle
launch.
just gives you more momentum and higher specific impulse, right? 30 to 40 seconds more specific impulse, right? The analogy I like to use is if I had a big red balloon here in front of me, it would have pressure inside of it as a chamber, like a pressure vessel, and I would be holding it by its nozzle. It's a very technical term. And if I let it go, the big red balloon would essentially fly away. So I'm not saying our rocket engines are big red balloons, but it's the analogy that I like to think of.
That's a good way.
At least
Eddie,
they're blue balloons.
yeah.
They're going to be balloons, Eddie.
They don't have to be red. They've been big blue balloons.
big-
He also, I remember,
Yeah,
I went to
that's
one
right.
of his. He hosts these things here at Blue Origin where we can learn more about updates with different things happening with our engines. And he was explaining essentially the shower head method and how shower head is very similar to how an engine works. But Eddie, I think it's so great to be able to talk to him anytime about engines. And we're so grateful for him. Of course, he is out with our employees. The best viewing spot to see.
I mean, a shower head is kind of how a
into the
rocket
skies.
works,
You're looking
except
at NG2 right now.
you've got
on the
two
pad, and in
liquids
this
that
moment,
mix
we're
and
gonna
then
toss
they're
it
funneled
back
into a
over to the
little
rocket, because coming up here
nozzle.
shortly, we have a very exciting
It's an
go,
okay
no-go poll.
analogy.
So We're going to toss it over the rocket and kind of await that pull.
New Glenn. Yeah, no, I don't think the stickers are peeling. I think that's just ice buildup. Steam buildup, something like that. Well, it's not steam, it's... gaseous buildup along the side of the rocket. I want to see this booster land. We made it farther than we did previously. These people on the NASA spaceflight chat are actually... Ooh, that helicopter's playing it a little bit close there. 18 minutes from launch? Really? Really? That helicopter is playing it just a little bit close there.
Copy.
All stations, this is the LV on count 1 with the go poll for final configurations and terminal count. Understand we are still pending GME final configurations and LVHD retraction, also pending weather. This is the go poll for final configs and terminal count. GC.
GC is go pending retraction of LVHD10.
LC1.
LC1 is no go pending day of launch PDI load.
Understand you are a go pending the load. LC2.
LC2 is go.
LSO.
Go.
OSM.
Go with the exception of weather.
RC.
Go.
ESR.
ESR go pending LVHD and PDI.
AC.
Go pending LVHD retraction.
Recovery.
Go.
GLI.
Go.
BMD.
Go.
GC, LC1, LC2. Perform final configurations for terminal count. Report when ready for terminal count gate checks.
LC2 copy.
Oh, this is RC in count 1.
GC copy.
Go ahead, RC.
A lot of potential sea surveillance violation with a cruise ship. We're still working on Coast Guard to make contact. I'll give you an update as soon as I have it.
LD copies.
So you just heard the go pulled there. It seems like a conditional go according to the weather. So we are going to continue to our terminal count, and we're going to continue to also keep an eye on the weather. So lots of things that we are tracking at this moment in time.
I think we should note there just a second. So first of all, our launch director, Megan Lewis, that lady is a boss.
Yes.
She is fantastic. There's a lot of things to coordinate there, and you heard various teams giving their go, no go, and go pending. And obviously we have to track a lot, especially in these last 15 minutes. And her job in that room is to coordinate. You saw the people in the front room, but then there's also essentially what's like an engineering support room in the back. Yeah. So that they go off and they track things, they run things down and report back on making these clears. So they are go pending because they want to launch this rocket, and they think that there's still a chance here. So more drama.
Yeah, we're excited. This has been quite the show. As you are watching NG2, we're at L-14 minutes, but in order to build a road to space for the benefit of Earth, we've got to radically reduce the cost of access to space by having our reusable rockets. So here's everything that you need to know about New Glenn.
The capability, the payload volume of New Glenn was all developed not only for today, but for the future.
That cruise ship, come on,
we have a
move
first
faster.
stage that is designed from the ground up to be operationally reusable. We have a second stage that is one of the largest upper stages to ever fly to space.
New Glenn being a reusable launch vehicle is so beneficial to future lunar missions. It's going to allow us to keep that cadence going, where we'll be able to launch multiple landers, multiple refueling flights over and over again, so that we can reduce the cost of access to the moon.
It is designed to be an incredibly resilient vehicle with a tremendous amount of mass to orbit capability. We can do anything from low Earth orbit missions, where we're deploying a whole lot of small spacecraft, to geostationary missions, where we've got a large monolithic spacecraft.
We can do very large modules of future commercial space stations on a single launch. We can take dozens and up to 50 to 100 satellites per New Glenn mission. It is our avenue to significantly reduce the cost of access to space.
We've been working with a huge variety of customers, and they're really rethinking their business models because of what New Glenn unlocks for them.
New Glenn will be able to launch a lander to the moon in a single launch. That's an incredible capability that this one launch vehicle will be able to do. We built these landers specifically to fly with New Glenn. And that's what's so great about having the launch vehicle and the landers all part of Blue Origin, is that we work together.
It really is the infrastructure, the building block, the foundation of how Blue Origin will enable building a road to space.
We've got a number of programs we're working on, like Blue Ring, which will benefit national security customers and other customers, providing on-orbit maneuvering capabilities. We're working, of course, with our own internal teams to deliver new capabilities that Blue is bringing. But New Glenn is going to be delivering all kinds of spacecraft today, all kinds of new systems, all kinds of capabilities. And New Glenn is the vehicle that can take NASA or anyone, anywhere in the solar system.
We foundationally developed New Glenn for what we think space is going to look like 50 to 100 years from now.
It will allow us to go to the moon, to asteroids and other planetary objects, and use those resources to learn how to live off the land in space.
New Glenn is going to unlock so much potential that we don't even know about yet. We're laying that infrastructure so that the next generation can do amazing things in space.
All right, we are at L-10 minutes and 34 seconds to go from New Glenn's second launch. And Tabitha, you recently had the chance to chat with our CEO, Dave Limp, about NG2 and what this mission means for science, but also for Blue Origin.
I certainly did. It was so great to be able to sit down and actually talk with him. And I think you guys are going to be surprised to learn just how much of this moment has really been building up over time, and how even when he was a child, Dave himself had an interest in space. Check it out. This is a really big moment for Blue Origin. Can you tell me how NG2 compares to NG1?
Yeah, I think NG1 was obviously our first mission. There was lots to learn, and we did learn a lot, and unbelievably successful in that we made our goal, which was to get to orbit. This time we're going to be a little bit more ambitious, and we want to not only get to orbit, but
All
we
right,
have our
9
first
minutes
paying
to
customer
go.
this time.
I'm going to set up a thing.
With Escapade and get them off to Mars. A huge achievement for the team and for Blue. I think that we have a good chance, but if we don't, like I said, we can build more, but I will be over the moon if it happens.
Now, New Glenn is obviously just one of the many systems we have here, right? We have New Shepard, we have Lunar, we have In-Space Systems. How are all of those organizations really working together to further our ultimate goals?
Yeah, I think each component of what we do has a piece of trying to get millions of people to work and live in space, and they all have their individual. But as it relates to this particular mission, a huge amount of people have put work into it. Obviously, our engines team in building both the engines for the booster, the BE-4s, and the BE-3Us for the upper stage. We also have a huge amount of work by the obviously New Glenn team building this vehicle, but also New Shepard has been a pathfinder. So all our avionics fly on New Shepard first, so that we can get a sense of what's going on there and get a sense what it's like to have flight-ready hardware. And so it takes a whole team, and it's a very big cross-functional effort across Blue.
We have more than 10,000 employees here that are very excited about this moment. I'm one of them. What is your message to those who are going to be watching our webcast and be watching NG2 take to the skies?
Well, I think everybody will be a little bit on pins and needles, I'm sure. But I would say that this is a culmination of a lot of work from a lot of teams. It's not the end point of our journey. Obviously, we have a lot more rockets to make and a lot more customers to make happy as we move forward. But to the extent we're successful here, I hope everybody at Team Blue takes a pause, smiles a bit, celebrates, because it'll be a great achievement for us.
All right, the rocket is launching.
We'll take that deep breath. We'll sort of embrace the moment and then move on.
Rocket
because we
is
have
launching.
A lot of customers waiting for us to succeed.
I don't know, we'll
and
see.
There's nothing
We'll
that
see
makes you
how
happier in
New Glenn
business
does.
and in your life
I just
when
realized
you
what
see
shirt I'm
a
wearing.
smile on customers' faces.
Probably a bad.
Did you ever
probably a
think
bad
that
day
you
to
would be
wear
doing
this shirt.
something
but
like this in your career when you're watching
That's
your
okay.
rockets launch? No?
No, not
Could have
in a
wore.
million years.
I mean,
I was very
I
happy
usually wear
making,
this shirt on Starship launch
Fire
days, but
TVs and Echoes, but it is
I
a
don't
boyhood
have a New
dream,
Glenn
and
shirt,
so to be
so
able
I
to
guess this
have
is
it,
the
I
closest
kind
I
of
can
pinch
get.
myself every day, and just amazed that I get to wake up and help this lead this amazing team of people build incredible technology like New Glenn.
I mean, and a reference to that,
6
one of the
minutes
first
to
things they
go.
ask you when you
Still
come on to Blue
launching.
Origin is, what is your first memory of space? What is
I
your first memory
personally
of space?
think
Yeah, I have a lot of pictures. It
that
turned out
this
my
will launch,
third,
but
fourth, and fifth birthday,
we'll see.
I have these old Polaroids of the cake, and they all have rockets on it. I was enamored with rockets as a kid,
I
and
don't know. Do I think
never
this
took
is
the
the
path where
one?
I thought I'd be running a rocket or a rocket
absolutely
company,
think
but it
I'd
turns out
just
that
scrub,
it was
like,
very
right
early in
now.
my life that I
That
had a
darn
lot of
Carnival cruise
And
ship.
we're so grateful to have you here at the helm. Dave, thank you so much
I
for
only
your time.
rode
I
on one
appreciate
Carnival
it.
cruise ship, and then I switched over to Royal Caribbean, and
And it was such a great interview to
That's
have a
kinda
moment
bright.
to sit down with our CEO and talk with him. If you are just tuning in, this is the launch of NG2. We are at L minus under 6 minutes, and we have to tell you guys, right now we are tracking a cruise ship that is in the area and closely tracking weather, as we heard
Looks
in the
very
go
pale.
poll. But my understanding is that by the time it comes to our moment of launch, that cruise ship should be out of the way. But we are still keeping our eyes on that weather, Ariane.
Absolutely, but with that,
For
we're
those on
under 6
stream,
minutes
I
to
am
go.
recording
Let's go
my
out to
reaction
Eddie,
on my
because you
phone.
realize we're about
So if
5
I'm talking
minutes
about
to
visual
go
things
on
about
Eddie.
myself,
How's everybody feeling out there?
Yeah,
That is
it is
why.
hype out here. We are so excited to be at less
5
than
minutes?
5 minutes before launch.
Still looking pretty
We're
good.
excited to be here.
As long as that cruise ship moves very quickly,
Is that gonna
out of the way of the rocket launch. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want
we
to know
got
what
Rooster,
the
we got
captain
Rooster,
of the boat
and the
is
flag,
saying.
everybody's
You
ahead,
know they always
Rooster.
come on the announcements. They're just like,
An escapade, and this is the team that's launching the rocket today.
They have
They
a
helped
weird
build it.
accent.
Amazing. They are absolutely
What
psyched.
is-
What we're waiting for here is a go, no, go,
Like a-
final go, no, go. We're
Why
bringing
is he on
this
a chicken?
down to the
I'm just
minute
saying.
on this one. We
Why is
wanna
he on a
launch
chicken,
before our windows.
waving
We're waiting
around
on the team
the-
to determine if that's great to go.
Blue Origin
Oh,
flag.
Eddie, let's go blue. Let's go blue.
I'm not sure
Thank
why
you
he's
so
doing
much.
that,
We are hyped. They are
but
hyped.
he is.
Since we are at essentially L minus
Oh, hold.
4
I think it's
minutes,
done.
let's go ahead and toss it back over to the rocket right now.
Hold. They're not talking, which is usually a bad sign. I don't think it's going today. I mean, it hasn't scrubbed yet, but they still are not talking. I don't think this thing's gonna go today. Well, I mean, yeah, no. What is it? I don't know what time it is. I don't think it's going. I personally do not think this thing's going, but not good before, but now it's I don't. I can't see it. It's held too long. It has. Yeah, it has. It's held far too long. Isn't this like literally the end of their window? They still aren't saying anything. Oh, ooh, it's scrubbed. Talk. Talk, please. Elaborate further why the clock just disappeared. Three hours wasted. I love when that happens. So much fun.